like to grab a seat if you're sitting in on this session, and just to let you know that there's a concurrent session running now at the moment.
Don't worry.
And that's with, just grab the right piece of paper. That's with Eddie Dunn in regards to integrated pest management in horticulture. But we'll get you underway here. And we have Robert Pekin from Food Connect in Brisbane. He's going to be talking about connecting growers with the local market in southeast Queensland. And I'll just read a little bit about Robert and his achievements. It's in regards to direct marketing and distribution of fresh produce in southeast Queensland. And he's also going to be talking about lessons from the past, current trends and eye to the future. Robert was a key founder of Food Connect in Brisbane in 2005, a social enterprise food hub focused on selling seasonal, ecological food direct from your farmer, in southeast Queensland. He also helped establish the Food Connect Foundation in 2009, which researches and works to support ecological, sustainable food production and distribution systems. Robert is an ex-dairy farmer and a market gardener. I'll hand you over to Robert.
Thank you. Am I better off just speaking like this? Loud? Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. Is that going to upset your recording? It will. You sure?
It'll be good.
It'll be good. Oh, cool. Right, great. So thanks, Steve and Elaine and the organisers for inviting me up. I'm going to. This is going to be incredibly interactive for this 90-minute session. So we can sort of really explore what's going on in the world. So I'll take you through a process where we'll really go out, and then we'll come in and then start to look at some solutions and some of the things that you individually, you on your farm, and then you as a collective could come up with. So I'm going to take you on a bit of a wild sort of a journey. But the first thing I want to do is acknowledge or remind you all. You all probably all already know this, is that to take time away from your farm, to take time away from your business, your family, is an incredible gift you're giving yourself. Like, we don't often give ourselves the time. We should do it more often. But to give yourself the time to do that is an incredible sort of gift for yourself. So to start off, we're going to have 2 minutes silence. And the purpose behind the 2 minute silence is to sort of get rid of all that clutter and all that stuff you've just come from for the last whatever time, and all the conversations you're having, and just have this break between all of that stuff and all those thoughts out of that stuff, and just come to a place where we're ready to embrace the next 90 minutes or the next 2 days, if you're staying here for the next 2 days, and really treat yourself to that gift that you're giving yourself. So we'll just sit quietly for 2 minutes. Okay, let's gently come out of that. So what I might get you to do is all to come up a little bit closer. So we're just going to use the whiteboard, and I want you to all see the whiteboard. And particularly as farmers, we tend to sort of tend to think that we don't know a lot. We tend to sort of, I suppose, rely on experts to inform us about what's going on in the world. What I tend to do, and the Connect team, the people I work with, is that we have this inner wisdom that actually knows a hell of a lot more than the experts, than the consultants, than the corporate leaders, and particularly, obviously, more than our politicians. So that's, in this next session, that's what we're going to basically bring out, unpack. We're going to unpack some stuff so that you're sitting in a clear space where you actually are the true leader, the true inspirer of yourself, what you're going to do in this community. So we're going to allow that wisdom to unfold from within rather than sort of relying on the outside world to inform us about what's going on. So what we're going to really scan is in the first instance is what is going on out there in the big wide world. Just in a sort of an overview, and just fill in the whiteboard as you go. So we'll start off with consumers. So what's happening in the world of the eater, the person who eats the food?
A lot of misinformation.
Misinformation?
They want to know. They want to know, but they're not being told the right facts.
There's a lot of spin. Yep. And positive stuff as well. So
there's also a growing trend.
What's that?
There's a growing trend of young people, starting to eat good food, know what they eat as well.
Yep. So there's
An awareness.
an awareness. Yep. Cool. And let's name what are they becoming aware of?
Where the food comes from.
Yeah. Want to know where it's coming from?
How it's born.
Yeah. Food grown comes from. What other things are they becoming aware of? Nutrition. Yeah. Sorry, what was that one over the back there?
How it's grown.
How it's grown. I want to know that.
And who's growing it?
Who, which is this one here.
Back on the land.
There's a bit of a trend to going back on the land. Yeah.
No, I think it says impact.
Oh, impacts, yes, absolutely, yes. Impacts, both enviro and social, social justice. What else?
People are looking for connection with the people.
What about this connection? This is.
Fair bit of fear out there too about what they might catch. Sanitation.
Okay, so all these, this awareness of diseases and, you mean you're talking about salmonella and all that, these, yes, yeah.
Overblown kind of fear about what they could catch from food.
Oh, you're talking about like raw milk and these sort of things. Yes, yeah. So there's both, isn't it? There's this fear of salmonella and bird flu and mad cat, all those sort of things. And then there's this, at the other end of the thing, scared of real stuff. That has real good stuff in it. Yes, yeah, both. I don't know how to describe that, but we all get the picture. Everyone agree with that sort of rough synopsis?
So it's to do with regulation too. So the regulators are
So
Over legislation.
there's an over legislation. Yeah. And we'll get to that in a minute because I've got that section there is in politics, in policy area.
I think it's cost.
Just in the eater, this thing about price.
In positive and the negative.
Yeah, right. So there's price.
Also negative, confused negative.
Oh, all right, how are you? What is that? Labelling, yes, that's right. The confusion around labelling. Yeah, so there's this awareness, but this awareness is they're going through a confused state. Yes, they're becoming really sort of, yeah, so there's this. Oh, yes, yeah.
Time's probably another one. I think people are time poor, so are they interested in going to multiple people to get their food or to one supermarket?
Yeah. There's this conundrum between I want to put the time in, but I haven't got the time.
Yeah,
You know,
yes, the ease of providing food for your family.
yeah. Time, convenience.
Food access.
Yes. Access is there, which is this, that we're talking about in terms of price.
Well, also there's people being time for not
Yeah.
being able to access
Yeah.
good food.
Yeah. Does everyone understand what Joel's talking about there? This concept of people haven't been enabled to access, you know, whether it's an affordability thing or it's a time poor thing or it's they're just so confused they don't know what to do and they just go, I've just got to believe what's been spun. Yeah.
And there's a big difference between the number of people who talk the talk and walk the walk. Like the actual statistics, the real statistics are that 90% of Australians do not get their regular intake of vegetables each day.
Yeah.
And I think it's like about 50% of Australians don't get the intake of fruit each day. So
That's right. Yes.
there's a lot, I feel very much there's a lot of talk, but the commitment's not there.
Yeah, it's like the sugar. Everyone knows sugar's bad for you, but still a lot of people consume a huge amount of sugar. What would you put that into? What sort of category is that?
Would be if I could.
What was that?
Would if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the tongue in their shoe just doesn't match the tongue in their mouth. Yeah. I'm trying to categorise that. It's great. It's a good point. Honesty. Yeah. This. Yeah. I'm going to down. There's something about they're not being authentic with themselves, honest with themselves about what I should be doing and what I am doing.
Yes.
Cool. That's a great point. Love that.
I think for me that next educational about nutrition. But
Yeah. Yep. So there's this. Yes, that's right. There's this conundrum between, you know, like the old saying, pay the farmer now instead of paying the doctor later on. This one of those great sayings.
I think there's a lot of apathy.
Apathy. Well, that goes to this stuff here, isn't it? This not being authentic.
No, I think there's a lot of people that really don't care. I think what you're describing at the top is a tribe of people that believe in those things, and I think there's a lot of people that don't.
That don't care. Right.
That's
Okay.
the tribe.
Somewhere or something the same as you lack of time.
Yeah.
The people have lack of time to go to the supermarket and
Or
see
just
it.
lack of interest.
They're direct from the farm. Oh, okay, they have this chicken.
Yeah.
45 days to have this chicken, that's not money.
Yes. Yeah. No. Apathy. I'm going to take that one. That's good.
I think it's spawned from the fact that they can't afford to do what you've got at the top. The needs aren't able, but
Yep.
they've got a service, you know, putting warm clothes and whatever food they can get.
And is there also something around, anyone want to comment on this apathy? Where would this apathy be coming from rather than me sort of throwing straight in? Yes, sir.
It's within all of us.
Aha, right.
Education.
So, describe that more. Talk about
Well, the apathy in all of us, because most people don't take the time to sit down and work out what's really important to them. We're just happy to go along with the flow, not everyone, but most people.
Yep.
And because we don't know what we want,
that. Yep.
we're happy to put up with whatever comes along.
So there's this. Do you think we're like meant to be lazy, or we've got a habit of being lazy?
Life's pretty good now,
Uh-huh.
so we don't have to work as hard for life as we used to work.
Yeah.
Supermarkets make it easy.
Yes.
Some of the television.
It's not deliberate.
No.
It's not we woke up one day and decided to be lazy. It's just that through hard work, life got better.
Yeah. So it's too easy.
And I'd like to suggest that that's too easy. It comes a lot with our marketing system in Australia that is controlled by giant supermarkets. So you walk into a supermarket, you can get everything you want from go to woe.
Yes.
People just want everything because they can have.
And they're in every little town and village everywhere now, so it's just become a fact.
Okay, cool. That's great. I think, is there anything, yes?
There's a bit of still a stigma about being, the healthy person as well. Like not everyone thinks they can achieve that physique and
you're right.
that lifestyle.
Yep.
Thank you.
too, Robert, the transition to urbanised societies just created such a distinct gap between the eater and the grower.
Yeah. So that's this lack of connection. Did you say urbanised? Yeah, the urbanised.
I think it's also that word about alternative. In actual fact, fresh fruit and vegetables is the main source, except we have this term alternative attached to our fresh fruit and veggies, that if you follow that. So it's also about language, the language that people have.
Laura, you said fusion, right?
Whereas the job was always growing.
Yeah.
Crazy, it's upside down.
What was that again, sir?
Going hand in hand with that, like how they call alternative farming now organic farming, whereas mainstream farming should be organic farming.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes.
There's this. We might touch on it in the politics side of things. Is this, we're led to believe there's left and right, but I see like eating fruit and vegetables is a very conservative thing to do. It's not an alternative side of things. Being frugal is a very conservative thing to do, yet they see the hippies as being the lefties out on the fringe, but really it's a really conservative thing to do, is to be frugal and preserve and make jams and chutneys and all those sort of things. Yet we're sort of thrown over to the left side of the spectrum now. So we can pay tax.
There's a lot of people who are kind of disconnected or wouldn't even know how a carrot is grown, and we all take that for granted that everybody knows, but a lot of people have got no connection to the land at all.
Yep. So there's this taking things for granted, which goes down to this cultural sort of apathy. We'll just take things for granted. Right. Well.
And then I think the big factor is the media. You have these people who have really well-known blogs that attract all the great advertisers in the country and make a fortune, describing how you buy home brand products from your local supermarket just to live cheaply, and there's nothing in there about fresh fruit and vegetables as being the cheapest and best source of nourishment. And then that goes on to cooking shows, the whole thing.
Yeah, cool.
Well, there's a lot of people who don't even know how to cook.
I think we've covered quite a few things there. We'll move on to.
So, Robert, I'm starting to feel a little depressed with all this. And I'd like to say that in amongst all this, there is just huge opportunity.
Okay, right, absolutely, and we'll get to them. So the four-step process is we'll do this scan, and then we'll go through what's actually happening right now and what are some of the barriers to unpacking this. Then we'll have 2 minutes silence again, and then we'll have 20 minutes of solutions. So 20 minutes of, okay, how do we get from where we are now to this point here using some of the positive things that you're seeing in the world that we know are out there? Or some of the, and I imagine a few of you would have gone, I've just made a connection. I've just had an insight. So we'll unpack that, and that's how we'll leave the workshop, is where we've got some clarity on some insights on how do we actually build a bridge. I need a timekeeper though. What time, Luke, am I aiming to? Till 11 o'clock. Okay, right. So we've got 10 minutes. So if we leave 20 minutes there, we'll go another 10 minutes. Look at some of the key themes for 20 minutes. And 20 minutes there, and then 20 minutes there. Okay, right. So can you at 10 o'clock shut this down, and then we'll go into some of the key themes that are happening in the world around resilience and finance. So in the last 10 minutes of this session here, we've looked at the consumers. Now let's look at say anything else like the world of finance. What's happening in the world of finance?
Big corporations,
Yes.
their drivers like us.
Adani is a great indicator of what's happening in the real world.
But even that blog I'm telling you about, that lady who runs non-healthy food is one of the richest people I know, like, because they've just been supported by big companies.
Oh, who's that? Oh, is this one of these sort of, like a Jamie Oliver type?
And then all the papers got a site for young homes and all the rest of it.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so
But
there's...
they get paid by big companies to be what they are and advertise their products.
Yeah.
And that's having a huge influence. You can put your head in the sand, but it's having a huge influence.
It's the importance of money.
Which one are you talking about?
Just several of them long ago, but
Yeah.
one was actually employed by, would you believe, the Farmers Association of Australia to promote farmers. And I thought, whoops.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, we'll get to that sort of that social media. And actually, that is in one of these things here, what's happening in the world of social media. But any more on I want you to really think about what's going on in the world of finance. Yes.
We've got that incredible access to money now through crowdfunding and that type of thing on the internet.
Yep. So there's crowdfunding.
I guess exploring those alternative models for accessing capital and community investment, sort of impact investment, with people divesting from for cause, people using their money for beneficial reasons rather than, I guess, that kind of more apathetic investment.
Impact investors.
The community ownership is, when you talk about coal models and stuff like that, there's a whole renaissance, I guess, of the coal model.
Yep.
I think under that is about how banks see farming as a high risk.
Yes. So, farmers are high risk.
So farmers are paying for the higher interest rates because of that risk, which makes them then a little bit more unstable.
The banks require farm ownership.
Yeah, there's that whole thing of ownership of
They won't consider it a business if you don't own it.
assets. Yeah, before you're allowed to borrow, or have security against that borrow. But I'm going to go back to Dana. You need to have an insight about the whole Adani thing. That whole world.
So what's the land mass that's sort of being taken over by the coal mine that could be yours arable land otherwise?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but just strictly in terms of finance, what's happening with that? Yeah.
The reality is that the corporations have got more wealth than the governments have.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
So the governments have
that's not what I'm
get some of their wealth from them.
Yeah, sure.
But they want to retain their wealth and have the government pay for their infrastructure.
Yeah, the National Australian Infrastructure Fund.
I think it's the inequity that if you and I went to ask for some of the things that Adani is asking for, we certainly wouldn't get sort of as much water as we like.
If you look at their balance sheet, and you compare it to our balance sheets. So, I suppose what I'm getting at is that there's a real awareness that what they've been falsifying for years is just not reality, and it's going to lose a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is with that confusion, one of the problems we have today is that the average person out there is so minerally deficient that they can't think for themselves. So this is the media, like TV, radio, newspaper, etc. They just think they're thinking, but if you look at it in reality, they're not. I'd like to quote Dr. William Albrecht and that on some of that, and also there was another man back in the 1800s, I don't remember his name, who did a lot of work on this. And he said it's the minerals that create people that are capable of thought and reason. And when you're deficient in minerals,
so you're making a link between this apathetic laziness to lack of nutrition.
This other stuff all then happens because they won't think outside the square, and sadly, many of them are not capable of thinking outside the square.
Yep, great point. So we'll quickly move on to some of the other topics. Politics. what's happening in the big wide world of politics.
Well, corporations are driving what the government legislating.
And
for their own benefits.
Yep. Yes, that's right.
And
So if you look
cutting
at
out smaller, integrated.
So there's sort of like, we've got here, corporations are driving policy.
Policy, but if you look at Trump,
And legislators.
if you look at Trump,
Yes, because internationally it's a trend of war.
there's this, he's just thrown a whole spanner in the works. He's not listening to corporations, and he's not listening to the people. Well, who knows what he's listening to.
His own
Personal agenda.
So it's really like Malcolm as well. They don't make any sense.
He's got his personal interests, his family, and they're trying to build network. Particularly, this recent thing come up that they got back door to Russia and things. Look at that, and they're building it with other countries. So his family, at the end of the day, his family will benefit, and nobody will find out how and where.
And where will that place it in the whole scheme of things? And I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. It's just thinking about that. Like, is it relevant anymore? Is politics relevant?
Well, it's got to be, because that's the way we choose to organise ourselves in little groups. Or I've got a group here. Yeah, so this is politics arguably with a small p, and then politics in Canberra or in Washington or whatever with a very big p. And we've just got to be part of the game. I don't think we can. We need to take, in terms of this awareness that we've mentioned before, we need to take the time as individuals to bust out of our outfit. That's not a tomato, that's just a red thing. What I want is a tomato. So that's a little bit of an awareness around tomatoes. So we've got to,
And I suppose what I'm
can't blame other people all the time. We've got to get up and do stuff.
What I'm making a distinction between is politics and policy.
One should lead to the other, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but we're seeing a bit of a disconnect happening there.
Well, most of it's driven by minorities these days.
Aha! There's a great insight.
Popular idea of the day.
Yeah.
The two major parties are too similar. Really have a differentiating factor between them.
Yes, there's no difference.
I think it goes back to media again as well. So using American politics for an example, after Trump got in, there were certain celebrities like some famous actors who said, you know, I actually have so much celebrity, maybe I could run because Trump's such a bad choice, you know. So it's actually about celebrity and social media than it is about having policy or any background in running a country.
There's also like a
bit of a service.
There's all sorts of actors said, maybe I could do it.
Cool.
I think there's been a lack of leadership from the arena that we would normally look to politics. And the leadership is actually coming from the private sector. I think of Elon Musk and what he's doing. And that's the change, that the power of the moguls from the digital era are now rich enough to be able to be world leaders.
And you all know about the other Musk. There's Elon and there's his brother. Who's heard of the brother? Yeah. So he's big in food. So his brother is pretty much the unsung guy who's much more stable than Elon. And he's doing a bucket load of stuff in our space, in this food awareness space. Yeah, there's a role. There is, you've all heard of B Corps, I presume, B corporations? So for benefit corporations. B Corps, they're now legislated in 30 states in America. It's not far away from being legislated here in Australia, where a corporation will have to sign on and actually separating shareholder wealth generation into now corporations will have to be liable for social or environmental impacts as they make it back to the shareholders. So that's not far away from being legislated.
Well, that's like Bill Gates owning so much of Monsanto.
Yes. There's that other side of leadership.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, interesting conundrum, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot goes on behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
That supports all sorts of stuff around the world that's not good.
Very true, very true. But I think the latest event that happened over in Europe, where his representative was there, and she was completely changing the language. They had an awareness that all of that work they've done in Africa has gone nowhere, and they actually now realise that their centralised sort of model and this other model of whatever it is just isn't working at all, and now they're seeing women as a major part of the and distributed power rather than the sort of centralised, let's go for it type thing. So there's a real tipping point. I suppose, you know, if you're looking enough, you can see a lot of people really tipping at this point in time. Sure, they're still in this apathetic point, but there's a growing population starting to get to this point where we've got to take responsibility. We've got to assume leadership rather than sort of leaving it up to the so-called leaders that we've defaulted to over many years. Is that 11 o'clock? 10 o'clock, right up now. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some of the key themes. Roll again on that. And so I'm not going to write any of this down. I'm not going to keep a record. Some people are, which is great. Because the way I work is, and increasingly we're going to work, is from what I call this inner wisdom. So whatever information you need to retain from there, you'll actually retain it. And when we get to the last session, you'll actually have some insights. So, but we all have different ways. So those who want to take notes, go for it. Those who want to just have this real focus on the process and seeing what comes out of it is going to be really good. So what I want to talk about now is sort of some key concepts or themes that are going on in the world. So systems, food systems, agricultural systems, concepts like resilience, concepts like sustainability, concepts, and just sort of have a quick scan across those key sort of themes that are happening in the world at the moment. So I want to start one with systems, and we can go into a big space with systems. Making my writing look bad. Not that I'm good anyway. So, once again, sort of very big picture. What are some of the key systems or concepts? Yep, themes that are prevalent or starting to rise up to the surface, so you can see. So both negative and positive. So some of them, or some of them counter. So like in systems, you know, we're seeing a rise in policy and in universities and in agriculture, as starting to have multidisciplinary or cross-silo thinking rather than silos. So that's a big key system, I suppose, that's starting to happen at the moment in agriculture. So if you want to start on that, then concepts, the new concepts that are starting to come up in public discourse, like regenerative agriculture now is sort of has if those that have been around the food system for a while, we obviously had organics a long time ago, and then we moved to in the US they called it localised, I think of localism, and in the UK they had transition towns, same sort of thing but coming together, and now we're seeing the word regenerative being used a hell of a lot more. So even with OFN in Australia, the OFN, the Organic Federation, the Organic Federation of Australia have tried to bridge the gap between the 8 certifiers now in Australia, tried to bring a common voice to those 8 certifiers. So anyone wants to just start with anything comes in your brain. Someone mentioned permaculture before.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, permaculture.
Well, there's lots of systems that people seem to want to fit under a system rather than integrate lots of them.
Yep. Rather than sitting under a
rather than taking multidisciplinary approach and using many.
Yeah.
observation of, you know, using what works. I don't want to sort of say, well, I'm this and I'm that, and this is the way you do things.
So people, do you think, are starting to use principles rather than stick to a strict methodology? Yeah, like back when I was dairy farming, you know, cell grazing wasn't being used. Now it's big, but there was a bit of polarisation between farmers saying, well, I'm a biodynamic farmer, for instance. You know, back particularly before BFA started, there was Demeter and there was NASA, and the two didn't see eye to eye at all. Then BFA plonked itself in the middle and said, well, we're going to be both, and started to break down some of that sort of polarisation that's going on between farmers. That's what you're talking about. That sort of, So people are wanting to,
so instead of being in a silo of a particular type of agriculture, you're actually mixing a variety of agricultural methods.
Cool. So there's a cross-silo thinking. Anyone got any examples of this, you know, any real-world examples of in your own experience, cross-silo thinking? You know, where you might have been, I was just going to be this, and now I'm really thinking that maybe I need to embrace a couple of other things in my system. Any
organic farmer, but we're looking into some biodynamics and tools from
Cool. And how's that impacted your farming or your cool. Anyone else got any examples of that sort of?
I'd say, Robert, the role of the farmer has always been so multidisciplinary.
True.
Try and find a farmer that's not also a mechanic and a vet. It seems to be that one size fits all kind of role.
It's a bit of a change from calendar farming to as-needs farming.
What's that up?
There's a shift from calendar farming to as-needs farming.
Yes. The old calendar farming. I've never heard that expression. Is that common use up here, calendar farming? Or is that a... Really? Oh, yeah, like this day's when the first frost is going to arrive.
Also, a spray by the calendar, you know, regardless of...
Yes, okay, righto, I'm with you. Yes, calendar farmers to... What did you say?
As needed.
As needed. As needed.
Well, like in our area, a lot of the farmers are burning the paddocks at particular, August, September.
Yep. They're not doing that anymore, or they are?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they still are burning the paddocks.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're still, okay. Has that shifted in the last 10 years, 15 years, do you think?
Not in our area.
Not in, which area are you in?
Widgie.
Widgie?
Yeah.
Where's that?
West, about 20 minutes west.
Oh, okay. Oh, so not far away at all.
Well, yeah.
Right, okay. What sort of farmers are doing that?
Oh, it's like paddock management.
Oh, right, okay,
That traditional sort of...
So it's a low heat fire? Yeah, it's not a real...
No, it's not a low heat fire.
Oh, right, okay. Right, okay.
It's to encourage the growth as well.
Yeah, cool. So anything more on that sort of across, anyone else got any examples where you sort of might have been taking on other approaches, like building the diversity into your farm? Like as in, instead of just, like in my day,
just did cattle and that was it.
That was it, that's right. You just did dairy and that was it.
Broader.
Yeah, people were getting
Mixed farming.
Yep.
Silver pastoral systems.
What's that again?
Silver pastoral systems.
Silver
pastoral. Yeah.
So silver culture.
Yeah. So trees and cattle.
Trees and cattle. Yeah. So there's diverse farming systems. Regenerative, is regenerative agriculture used much in your space up here? Yep, okay, cool. Anyone want to talk about that? What's, as a key theme or a concept? So,
So you want to add as much diversity to the biosystem that you're running in. So you need to look at what's natural in your area and work on improving all those links inside your farm to make it work more effectively as a biosystem.
Righto. What were you going to say, sir?
Yeah, and I guess that our education has been that a landscape runs down,
Yes.
and then we have to bring something in to pick it up.
Yep.
And that has been shifted hugely. The landscape can actually regenerate itself and get better all the time.
Yeah, in my area, I was called up here because I have dairy farm in Western Victoria in a market garden in Tassie. But the same in Tassie, they had this replacement theory that was taught to us. So basically, I sell milk, so I export calcium off the farm, so therefore I have to bring in calcium in the form of lime, potassium, and all these other things. And then that started to get replaced. There was a big shift towards what we call down our area ecological theory, where there was so many other things that were happening in a dairy farm, and if you brought in a fruit and veggie farm and all these other things that you actually didn't need to replace, that replacement theory become null and void. You're saying that's become huge, or you're really seeing a lot of people shift away from that.
People that are kind of realising that a landscape doesn't have to run down.
Yes,
And pick itself up.
And that goes back to this, building. We can continually build and actually bring back topsoils.
Well, we work with a systems thinking approach, and we're next to a national park. So for us to rebuild the vegetation corridors into the farm that completely circle the farm and have corridors through it is part of the diversity and building a healthy ecosystem.
What do you call it? You got a name for it? You don't have to name it.
No, for me, it's just doing work in systems thinking about that,
So
creating
systems,
complex systems.
Yeah, and holistic.
Yes.
And holistic,
There's a lot of money in that replacement period because all the chemical companies and all the people wanting to sell you stuff have got a lot of vested interest in replacement rather than letting nature do its own work.
Which brings me to another key system or concept or theme is the term industrial farming. And now a lot of people use that in the organic industry. They actually call it the industry. Has anyone had any awareness or thinking around?
Like the 10 hectare shed that grows lettuce, they plant at one end, they put it out the other.
And it's organically certified?
I don't know.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. But that industrial, you can apply it to anything.
As in like monoculture.
Organic use or industrialised mainly.
So this isn't not a lot of stock, so there's this sort of monoculture. Don't really, the industrial machine doesn't really worry about packaging or how far the food travelled, or even there's this goes alongside a lack of systems thinking. So like if you're when you're systems thinking, you think, oh well, hang on, there's a take for instance, putting your produce on the shelf of the supermarket. There's a lot of systems thinking in that, because you're actually powering up the machine that then drives prices and drives a whole bunch of spin and drives a whole bunch of whatever they want to drive. So there's this sort of this gap between moving from an industrialised thinking model to a systems model. But is there are people sort of seeing people starting to think in a systems way?
Well, I started to think about you're up against like a massively organised system, like it involves transport, it involves a whole lot of energy use, with little concern for the environment and little concern for the local farmer, and it's just a massive system. And to industrialise whatever you do, you just play into that system. So then there's rise like what you're involved in with Food Connect, is that there are alternative systems that are struggling to get footing.
Yes.
Because they come up against regulation, they come up against the
Yeah, this industrial machine. Which you're calling a system.
Yeah.
But it's really a machine.
Yeah.
It's
got a whole lot of aspects to it.
Key to that change too is localisation. So if there is increased strength in localisation, then there's not so much of a reliance. Because we've had a huge drive to urbanisation, everybody thinks we've got to have a big industry in order to be able to service that, whereas, you know, there's lots of models that have proven that wrong.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a unpack that a bit more, this concept of the productivity, like a dairy farm. I've got 310 cows on 410 acres, and you know, and farmers around me were all going up to 1,000 cows, but there was what wasn't measured was the amount of cows that were dying, the amount of farmers that committed suicide, the amount of sort of chemicals that were used in that process. There's all these other things that weren't very, very productive at all, but society sort of, or, you know, the way they measure GDP and
the input, output, and a lot of dollars in between.
yeah, that's right. No looking at all.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
There's another aspect in there, and that is the reality of living on a farm. When we established our farm, you could only get money that would sustain you to live and pay your bills if you send
you're a radical lefty, aren't you?
particular product to the market. So
Yes.
we pick hundreds of kilos of limes, but when I'm sorting them, I know that I will only get money back to raise my family if I send a dark green one around about 70 to a box.
Yeah.
And that you can take that through every one of your vegetables and certain fruits. So in Bundaberg you end up with 40% of your crop not able to meet the requirements of Australian consumers.
Yes. Okay. So this is a key theme or concept that's popping up now. Is waste? Has everyone been watching Craig Newcastle's show? Isn't it fantastic? He's finally, I think he's pivoting people's thinking. Now, whether they're so apathetic they're just going to go, what a lovely show, and for 2 weeks do something and then forevermore not do anything, it remains to be seen. But it is a key thing. And globally, systems. A friend of mine just got $3 million sunk into her business. It's a software program called EMME, based in Victoria. That's all around bringing waste food, buying waste food off farmers, buying that other 40%, which is probably higher in some other instances. Cool. Okay.
But I mean, until we can attack this problem at the center, is what I'm trying to say, is we're really, it's
Yes, yeah. Well, I want you to be into this place where we really have got some challenges.
But is
like you're saying, it's
is that necessarily consumer awareness, or is that a governing body that's dictating that that's what a line looks like?
Yes,
It's kind of a lot more
supermarkets
awareness. A lot more people are pushing for.
Yeah. We're talking about these standards. When you're talking about So there's this theme around waste, and what's driving that is standards. These regulatory standards around the bend the banana should have. Yes.
There's another thing, Robert, that gets very little airplay. And it's the concept of we lock up this area for conservation and we farm this area.
Yes.
And there's very little attention given to getting that biodiversity or that regenerative outcome coming right across the landscape where every farm is part of the whole.
So this is system thinking, isn't it? System thinking, rather than locking a place up and saying, well, just leave that to nature and we'll attend to this, rather than sort of looking at the whole system and attending to it all.
It manifests in like a group like Birds Australia, who put on a conference around the disappearing woodland birds. And then they all go out to dinner and put on their bib and buy food that's coming from a completely screwed landscape. They don't insist that it comes from a landscape that's got the woodland birds thriving.
So this is this silo thinking, this compartmentalised thinking. Okay. Is everyone on the page here with this compartmentalisation?
Another problem with the industrialised system is the lack of genetic diversity and loss of heritage seeds and breeds and all this,
So, yeah,
trying to standardise what we're eating is really cutting a lot of biodiversity and genetic information.
Yeah. And a couple of the key things we haven't spoken about too, which we could have touched on before, is around the vegan, the rise in veganism. PETA, you know, these groups that are pretty powerful, very powerful lobbyists, who are also getting a bit of an education. I was at a talk recently where I had a vegan on one side of me and a Buddhist on the other side, and in the middle, and I was in the middle, and there were two women. They were both very passionate. This one here was very passionate that no animals should be eaten at all, and this one over here was saying, well, actually, fruit and vegetables also have feelings, and you're eating them. And I sat in the middle and said, well, it doesn't really matter. Whenever you eat a broccoli, there was a lot of death in clearing the land and killing all the insects and all of that stuff that went on. So you're going to, a lot of people are becoming educated that it isn't all black and white. Just because I don't eat an animal doesn't mean I haven't killed something. So there's this. So there is this. This is really critical. But there is this sort of a lot of stuff. Do you see that over in Latin America? There's this real confusion. People are starting to go, oh my God, you know, all's not black and white.
Well, it's about the interconnectedness of all things, like it's and the farmers included, like you were saying before, it's like, we're saying like we're part of the whole. So like we can't become siloed on our own farm. It's like we've got to think of ourselves as being part of the wider landscape.
We are.
So there is a growing awareness of that.
All one. So this has brought me to another key theme, or something that's really poking its head up, and we saw a bit of it the other day at Uluru. Anyone want to talk about that particular sort of surfacing around, and it's global, this surfacing of Indigenous people. Indigenous people are being acknowledged and really coming out with some really powerful statements. And they've been saying this for years. You go to any gig where there's an Aboriginal person who opens the ceremony, and they always will say this in there, and we miss it most of the time. We don't actually. But now it's starting to come. So the Uluru statement, the statement from the heart from Uluru, if any of you read that or listened to it, same over in Canada with the Mounties, siding with the Iroquois around the pipeline that Obama was going to put through, and Obama pulled it. So we're seeing this surge, I suppose, in the Indigenous people really coming together as one and actually starting to make a bit of a powerful play. You know, we celebrated. So there's been a rise in the Indigenous, or people understanding. Have any of you read Bruce Pascoe's book, Dark Emu? Have anyone read Dark Emu? Yeah, you know, this understanding that the Indigenous people had a very, very sophisticated way of living and cooperating and eating in the landscape. So this is an emerging theme. It's been around for a long, long time, but now it's starting to get a bit of airplay.
Rewilding.
Rewilding. It's another key concept. Okay, what did you say, Luke, this time?
Just after 20 past.
Just after 20 past, okay. So, so we've covered that. I don't think there's anything we've sort of missed in these sort of concepts. Anyone else got yes?
Just the concept of drawdown and how interconnected that is with the carbon economy, and then I can see that the agricultural movement has had an impact on it. It fits directly into the regenerative model, but most specifically, just the carbon.
Yeah, okay. I was about to go straight into solutions then. But yeah, remember that there's a. Hopefully it'll surface. I better write it down just to make sure. Cool. Okay, great. So now we'll go into the barriers. So can I get that rubbed off again, please? So what we want to unpack now is what are some, and we touched on it before, what are some of the things? Yep. Yep. What are some of the things that we've already touched on that are preventing it, or in our minds at the moment? So we want to basically, we've got to get it out. We've got to get out. So no sort of not saying what you feel is stopping you from doing what you want to do, or what society should do, or what is in the way. So let's get it out. Things like regulations. Yep. You know, so we have to, in order for us to go to the solution phase, we have to actually say what needs to be said and get it out there. And hopefully I'm taking you through a process where at the solution time, after we do a little bit 2 minutes silence, we'll have some really, really deep, impactful insights that are transformative in terms of how we tackle the future. So, barriers. Right. Yes?
I suppose the most obvious one is legislation is the same for large-scale producers right down to someone who's an artisan maker who just supplies a very small local area.
So the lack of scalable regulations. Everyone understand? Is everyone on the same page with that whole idea of scale? You're probably all buried in it, but the fact that you have to pay the same amount of money that a massive sort of industrial farmer has to pay, no matter what scale you are on the spectrum, and all the other things that go along with that. Have you got another example?
Yeah, it would be like the scare campaigns around raw milk and cheese made from raw milk.
Yeah.
We go to France, we go to places where they've been doing it for centuries, and yet why it makes us think that it's going to be any different here?
That's right. Yeah. So there's sort of fear regulations. Yeah. Cool. Yes.
Being an industry that has to pay retail prices for stuff.
You mean as in on your input side of things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Retail.
And we have to
Retail
pay
dollars.
transport both ways, you know. They don't buy from us and pay to get it there. We have to actually pay to get it to them. Stuff like that. That's just...
Okay, so this is, you're talking about getting on the shelves of supermarkets.
Or anywhere.
Is this, yeah. So, I mean, what you put on there is do you want to go into that for a bit? This money barrier, this price barrier, the money you have to pay. If you're a farmer who's putting your stock on supermarket shelves and hoping to play that whole game, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So the dollars to get on the shelves. What else is with that? 90 days to get paid. 90 or whatever it is. Is that right? 90 or 100 days. Who's selling direct to a supermarket? Or to you all? No one's selling direct to a supermarket? You are. What's that like?
Painful. You have to pay for it to get packed. You have to pay for transport everywhere. You have to. It has to be a certain standard, which is.
The whole standard thing, yeah.
They fix the prices. You have no input into the prices that you get.
Yeah. Okay, who's selling into the markets, the central markets? You're all selling locally, are you? You're all price setting? Who's not price setting? You're all price setting yourselves? Really? Right, so we don't have to go into that space.
But do you think it's worth mentioning in that barrier too that the supermarkets purchase the majority of the vegetables and fruit that actually end up in their marketing system?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
That's where I goes to the central markets.
Oh, and then into where you don't know.
Yeah, still price fixes. All that is still relevant.
Okay, so the basic concept is a lot of your money is going into that, or you're the risk taker in that process.
Take all the risk.
And they get all the profit. And they get all the profit.
Yeah, exactly. I get 20 cents for an avocado. They charge $5 for it.
Yeah. What else is so So who else is? What else are you all, or what is everyone else dealing with in that money side of things?
Competing with the externalities that other people just are able to justify. I don't know if it's where it's in there.
Internalising those costs that everyone else just bums on the society.
And the greater landscape.
Yeah, so this is a lot of that's got to do too with this concept of social licence. We didn't cover that in the previous thing, but social licence is certainly a lot of the thing that corporations are starting to lose. They're starting to lose, and politicians definitely are losing their social licence to operate. Adani is a great example. They've lost their social licence to operate. They can't spend anymore, and we're seeing the same sort of thing happening in other big sort of things that are externalising a lot of their costs, whether it's poverty or bad health or chemicals into a lake. They're losing that social licence to operate. So that's a key sort of thing that's happening in the world now. And it's been called out by leaders around the world. Any other pricing sort of things that are... yes. No? Sounds like you're all a bit silent on price.
What about just setup costs for anyone new wanting to go into farming?
Yep.
So it's not only setup costs, there's all the money that's got to go to government so they can give you a stamp to grow something or raise something.
So there's this whole idea of capitalist capital. Capital needed. Needed, yeah.
Well, if we're talking about setup, about maintenance, you do the maintenance, you putting all the time money input.
Maintenance.
Yeah,
on a
weekly basis pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
There's licensing, accreditation, something to that. And every step there's costs. I mean, there's costs for someone to look at a form. There's costs then to integrate that form.
And the costs aren't relative to scale.
It's scale. Yeah.
If you're thinking of costs in terms of the consumer end again as well, if we choose to buy from a grower's market directly to the farmer, then we may pay money for it, and people need education that there's a reason why it's that cost. They still have the expectation that I go into Coles and everything says we support farmers, but it's only $1 a kilo, so why is food so expensive? You know, so there's a huge education there because people will look at price. They are price driven, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's this very thin margins when the Australian sort of theme is around down, and there's an expectation.
And there's a mentality too that if it was locally grown and it hasn't travelled, then I should be paying less for it.
Yeah, if I'm getting it direct from the farmer, it should be cheaper.
Has everyone got that? Is that a general agreement that there's this sort of expectation that the consumers have, and when they think that, oh, hang on, you just grew that down the road, surely I should be able to get it at a better price. They're not realising.
They're talking about industrial agriculture as opposed to farming.
So there's this pricing. Pricing expectation. Cool. Okay. Yes.
A couple of things, just from my perspective, and having farmed all my life until 7 years ago. Unfortunately, I had to leave it behind with the barriers, the risk taken, and the pricing expectations. And I guess I'm coming in particular right at the moment from a conventional point of view. But like, how many of you people here realise that, for instance, and this is a personal story that came from a grower, a conventional grower, large grower. He was telling me not many years ago, if they sell a pallet of spuds to Coles, for instance, as a hypothetical or one of the other big food chains and that, they will open, when they get it, they will open the packet, the spuds. Well, first of all, sorry, I got ahead. They tell you, they let the farmers, in many cases, we let the farmers set the price.
Yeah.
But they bring this guy up, and this guy from the horse's wheel, and they say, well, the spuds, how much do you want? And he says $15 a bag. They then say, oh, that's too much, we'll give you 30.
Yeah.
Now, this is going on.
Yes.
And on top of that, then when they get the pallet, they will open the bag of those spuds, and if they find one spud in that one bag that they've opened that isn't the exact size, that whole pallet gets dumped. And that's at you're the farmer, it's at their expense.
That's right.
It gets dumped and composted, so...
Does everyone have that?
And again, that's all the farmers...
We've actually had to
Pay for the freight.
Yeah.
There's this whole lot of things.
They got through.
Yeah, no, you did, David, yeah.
I grow, I pay.
Well, they have. The potato farmer, that reminded me of that potato farmer in Tassie, is it? He just got condemned.
At the end of the day...
300
It
tonne?
doesn't matter if one spud wasn't quite the right size, because when we get him, peel him and all, even if we don't, when we cook him, cut him up and put a piece in our mouth.
So there's this...
Stomach know whether it was this big or this big.
Yeah. So that everyone's got that. There's this sort of, particularly in the case of a spud or anything else we chop up and cook, there is really no clear, there can't be a real standard around that. But it's been used as a tool to make their profits.
I think also
just
is grants and submissions.
Grants and
I think
submissions.
that's changed recently.
Yeah,
where
right.
You, once again, everything comes back to you. You have got the, it's not like in the older days with if you got a submission and a grant, you didn't have to have the capital there to put up front. Now it's all still in the provider's hands.
Yeah, so there's this...
benefits the...
You're saying that there has been a shift in the way you can get regulations through council. It's not...
no, when you're applying for grants.
Oh, right.
A lot of it is like, you get 50% back, but you've got to put 100% forward in the first place.
Oh, okay.
So
It's upfront.
under the financial areas.
Upfront dollars, grants and
Which makes it really unattainable.
makes it really tough, yeah. So there's this capital up front. This is what who mentioned, the upfront capital. Yeah. What's the time, Luke? 20 to 11, okay. So we've got 20, so 23 minutes to get to 11 o'clock. So have we gone into enough of the barriers? Is there anything...
Can I just add one more?
Yes.
I actually think for food growers here in Australia, one of our big barriers is our Anglo-Saxon culinary heritage. About the type of food we grow in the wrong latitudes for the foods that we are trying to grow.
So what we do.
So it's that, and that brings upon a sort of the conundrum now with food security in Australia and BICOM. If you want to bring in something that grows within our latitude, the expense of bringing in seed is just astronomical. So we should be changing what we're growing. It shouldn't be broccoli in summer, as everyone expects. We should be looking at the latitude of where we exist here and sourcing food plants from those regions. But to bring in seed from South America, Africa or the Asias now is thousands of dollars.
Cool. Great. That's a great one to finish off with. Thank you so much for that one.
Just quickly, sorry, technology.
Technology?
Barriers is technology, and it's this hide and seek of information. When you're trying to acquire information about your market, about your accreditations and the information you require. There's this attitude of that you have to have a degree in sort of resourcing the information through that technology and getting through your systems. That's a big barrier, I feel, for farmers.
So to clarify...
You might have to go to 3 departments
to
get to, for information. But it's also about, you've got a website, go to the website.
You can't ring a person and get a straight answer.
There's not a lot of transparency in market prices.
In
market prices.
In market prices, yes, I don't.
I think it's transparency across the board, that's a good word.
That's right. And the other one is this technology where they're just defaulting to just searching find it on the website, and it's like a lot of websites now. You don't even have a phone number. You can't even ring anyone. No, it's really quite bizarre. You have to direct message them on Twitter. And then you get it. So have we sort of? I want to make sure we haven't missed something that's glaringly obvious in terms of the barriers for a food system to become, just renewable, regenerative, economically feasible.
Workforce, like not a lot of people, young people that are interested in having a career.
Skilled labour.
And education.
Skilled. It's not just labour, it's actually skilled.
Work,
you just saw the work. What do your work?
Yeah, it's trying to finish.
That could be the owner of a farm too, someone who comes and comes. Okay, so this is skilled workforce. Great. Any more before we shut this down?
Robert, I've been reading a chappie from Canada by the name of Doug Mackenzie Moore.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of work with human behaviour.
Yep.
And he's come up with an idea, shall we call it, that if we want people to change, they've got to learn to change their behaviour and permanently change their behaviour.
Yep.
And as humans, as members of a community, as small business people, on the whole, we're not very good at changing our behaviour or working out what we've got to do on a permanent basis to make things better.
Yeah. Cool. That's a very good point. And that goes back to that original theme we unpacked around consumer or dietary. People know they shouldn't eat sugar, but they still consume a lot of sugar. Whether they know it or not, doesn't really matter. That's a great point. So we have got another whiteboard because I want to see if in this solution, this next 20 minutes, we can actually.
That's a turn around.
Woohoo!
It should spin.
Yeah. Right. That's even better. Really want you to see me. So this next session is where we unpack the solutions to all of that stuff we've just dumped and unloaded. We've got it out, like a great big poo. We've got it out. Now we're feeling light and empty, and we're going to call on our innate wisdom inside of us to actually really come up with some radical solutions. So let's have 2 minutes silence to get ourselves set for this. So this is where you sort of just get rid of all those thoughts.